What if the person you lost never really left? What if, somewhere between sleep and silence, they've been trying to reach you, not with words you can hear, but with moments you can feel? It sounds impossible, maybe even irrational, but there are people everywhere who swear by one thing: their dreams. Not just any dream, but the dream. The one where someone they loved, someone who's gone, returns. And for a few short minutes, everything feels real again. It's not uncommon to dream about those we've lost, but every now and then, the dream hits different. It's not fragmented or strange. It doesn't blur like most dreams do the second you wake up. This one stays with you. You remember what they looked like, what they said, the way the air felt. You wake up and your heart isn't racing. It's still, calm, like you were just given something, not taken from. Maybe it's peace. Maybe it's a message. Maybe it's them. The truth is, grief doesn't end when someone passes. It lingers in our bones, our breath, our sleep. And dreams become the only place left where time doesn't exist, and the door between worlds is a little thinner. Maybe that's why so many people, especially those still deep in healing, report dream encounters that feel more like visitations than imagination. You don't have to believe in the supernatural to feel that something meaningful is happening. So, how do you know if your dream is more than just a dream? In this video, we're breaking down 6 powerful signs that what you experienced might actually be a message from someone who's passed. These signs are subtle, emotional, and often misunderstood, but once you notice them, you may never look at your dreams the same way again. Let's begin. The first and most undeniable sign that a dream might be a message from a loved one who passed is how vividly you remember it. Most dreams fade within minutes of waking up. They unravel quickly, like fog in the sun, half-formed images, disconnected ideas, and nonsensical scenes that don't hold much weight. But when a dream sticks with you, especially one involving someone you've lost, it's different. You wake up not just remembering the outline, but the detail, the sound of their voice, the way they looked, what they were wearing, maybe even the scent of their cologne or the way their hand felt in yours. It's all there, crystal clear, like it wasn't a dream at all, but a memory borrowed from somewhere else. People often describe these kinds of dreams as feeling more real than reality. They're grounded. They don't jump around like typical dreams do. There's a stillness to them, a sense of being fully present, like your mind wasn't inventing something, it was witnessing it. Some people even report waking up with emotions so strong, it's like the person was actually there with them. Tears on their pillow, a deep calm in their chest, or an unshakable sense that something important just happened. And here's the part that gives so many people chills. Often, these dreams happen at just the right moment, when you're struggling, when you're doubting yourself, when you feel alone. It's as if your loved one knew and came to offer reassurance, not in the way we usually receive comfort, but in the only way they can now. So if you've had a dream like that, one you couldn't shake, one that stayed with you long after morning, it might not have been random at all. It could have been something more. And the next sign makes that possibility even harder to ignore. Another powerful sign that your dream might be more than just a memory resurfacing is when the person you lost speaks to you. And what they say isn't just random. It's clear, direct, and oddly relevant to something happening in your waking life. In most dreams, conversations are scattered or don't make much sense. But in these specific encounters, there's often a moment, sometimes just a sentence or two, where the person delivers a message that feels meant for you. Not imagined, but given. It might be a warning, encouragement, reassurance, or a reminder, and more often than not, it's exactly what you needed to hear. Think about this. People have reported dreams where a deceased parent says, "You're going to be okay," during a period of deep anxiety, or where a late sibling says, "You need to let go," right when the dreamer was struggling to make peace with something from the past. These aren't vague words. They strike deep, And the emotional resonance they leave behind can feel like more than a coincidence. It feels like guidance, like help. What makes it even more convincing is the emotional weight. When someone who's passed speaks to you in a dream like this, you don't feel confused, you feel seen. The clarity of the words, the tone of their voice, even their facial expression, everything aligns with who they were in life. You can feel their personality, their presence. And when you wake up, you're not left wondering what it meant. You know, deep down, in your gut, it feels purposeful, intentional. These dream messages often come when you're stuck or overwhelmed, like a quiet nudge from someone who still cares, even from beyond. And once you've experienced it, it can change the way you see dreams forever. But that's just the beginning. The next sign goes even deeper, into something few people talk about, yet many quietly experience. There's a strange and deeply moving moment that happens in some dreams, when a loved one who's passed doesn't just appear or speak, but embraces you. A hug, a touch, even the feeling of a hand brushing yours. And what's truly startling is how real it feels. Not like a typical dream, not hazy or symbolic, but physical, tangible, as if, for just a moment, they were actually there with you again. This type of dream encounter is often called a visitation dream, and it's unlike anything else. People who've had them will tell you that it didn't feel like a dream at all. The sensation of the embrace, the warmth of it, the comfort, is so vivid, it lingers long after you've woken up. It doesn't fade the way regular dreams do. In fact, it often stays with you for years. You remember exactly how it felt. And here's where it gets even more mysterious. During these dreams, the surroundings are often unusually calm. The person who passed is healthy, glowing, peaceful. They don't look sick or broken the way they might have before they left. They appear restored, whole, and when they hug you, there's often an overwhelming sense of love, pure, simple, overwhelming love. No fear, no sadness, just connection. Psychologists might say this is your mind's way of processing grief, but for many, it feels like something more. It feels like permission to move forward, like closure that couldn't happen while they were still alive, or like reassurance that they're okay, and that you will be too. And if you've ever had a dream like this, it's not something you made up, it's something that happened to you, a moment that defies logic, but somehow feels more honest than reality itself. But what happens when they visit again and again? That's where things get even stranger. One of the most haunting and powerful signs that your dreams may be a message from someone who passed is repetition. Not just a familiar face showing up once, but the same dream, or parts of it, playing out night after night. You might be in the same room, hear the same words, wake up at the same moment, heart pounding. And while most dreams twist and change, this one holds its shape, almost like it's trying to tell you something you still haven't understood. Dream repetition isn't random. In psychology, recurring dreams are believed to reflect unresolved emotions or deep inner conflicts. But when the content revolves around someone who has passed, the meaning becomes more layered. It's no longer just about your mind revisiting pain or memory. It may be your subconscious, maybe even your soul, tuning into a message you're not fully receiving. Think about it. Why that specific person? Why that scene? And why does it come back over and over, like an echo that refuses to fade? It's as if something inside you, or beyond you, is saying, don't forget this. Maybe you didn't get to say goodbye. Maybe there's guilt or forgiveness still hanging in the air. Or maybe they're trying to offer comfort you wouldn't accept in waking life. Repetition is persistence. And in dreams, persistence is often purpose. Some people find these repeated encounters terrifying at first. But what's interesting is how often those feelings shift over time, from fear to curiosity, and then to peace. The dream doesn't change, you do. And suddenly, the repetition doesn't feel like haunting. It feels like connection. So if the same dream keeps knocking on your door, don't ignore it, because the more often it comes, the more urgent the message probably is, and what's waiting on the other side of understanding it might just change you for good. There's a moment in some dreams that doesn't feel like a dream at all. Time slows down, the world around you fades into silence, and the person you lost looks right at you, not with confusion or distance, but with full awareness. They speak to you clearly, sometimes saying your name, other times giving you a message that feels strangely real, not abstract, not jumbled, just clear, unmistakable communication. And when you wake up, you can still remember every word. This type of dream is known by many as a visitation dream, and it's not just folklore. Therapists, grief counselors, and even researchers have noted a distinct difference between ordinary dreams and these vivid, emotionally charged encounters. In a visitation dream, the person who passed appears healthy, glowing even. They may be surrounded by light or seem younger than you remember, but most importantly, they're calm, and they know they've passed. In most normal dreams, people who've died often appear without explanation. You might realize they're supposed to be gone, but the dream doesn't acknowledge it. But in a visitation, they often say something like, "I'm okay now," or "I came to tell you this." The tone is peaceful. The message feels purposeful. It doesn't fade when you wake up. It sticks with you for days, even years. What makes these dreams even more remarkable is how they often bring closure to things left unsaid. Maybe you argued before they passed. Maybe you didn't get to say goodbye. Or maybe you were left with haunting questions. Did they forgive you? Did they know you loved them? Then, in the dream, they answer, not always with long explanations, but with a feeling that pierces deeper than words. If you've had a dream like that, you know it doesn't feel like just a dream. And that's because it might not be. When a message is that specific, that peaceful, and that persistent, it's hard to believe it's only coming from inside you. It might be coming through you from someone who's no longer here, but never really gone. Sometimes the message isn't in what's said, but in what's felt. In certain dreams, you don't even see the person you lost. There are no words exchanged, no clear setting, and yet the emotion hits you like a wave, a sense of overwhelming peace, sudden relief, or a deep, aching warmth that seems to come from nowhere. And the moment you wake up, you know something inside you has shifted. This is the sixth and final sign, when a loved one's message is delivered purely through feeling, not form. These dreams often unfold in abstract ways. You might find yourself standing in a field, floating through a soft light, or even watching a sunset that feels impossibly real. There are no faces, no conversations, just an atmosphere so emotionally charged it leaves you stunned. And somehow, without explanation, you just know they were there. You felt them. You felt seen. This kind of dream can be the hardest to explain to others because there's no storyline to describe. You might say, "I don't know what happened, but I woke up with tears in my eyes and this calm I haven't felt in years." That's not nothing. That's not your brain just firing off random memories. Many believe it's a form of energetic connection, where the soul of your loved one reaches out not to speak, but to comfort, to remind you that you're not alone, that they're still with you in ways deeper than physical form. These emotional dreams often come when you need them most, during moments of intense grief, major life changes, or quiet private breakdowns that no one else sees. You may not have told a soul how lost you feel, but somehow, in your dream, that invisible weight is lifted. And afterward, you wake up knowing something real happened, even if you can't prove it to anyone else. If you've ever experienced that quiet kind of dream, you're not imagining it. You don't have to rationalize it away. Sometimes, the most powerful messages from those we've lost don't come through voices or visions. They come through presence. By now, you've probably realized that dreams aren't always just dreams, especially the ones that feel too vivid, too emotional, too perfectly timed to be coincidence. Whether your loved one appears to speak with you, guide you, or simply surround you with an unexplainable sense of calm. These moments carry meaning. They aren't random. They're personal messages wrapped in symbols, feelings, and memories. Your soul hasn't forgotten, even if your conscious mind struggles to understand. And if you've experienced any of the 6 signs we've just explored, then you may be receiving something deeper than sleep. You may be receiving a visit. These types of dreams have been described across cultures, faiths, and generations. A. Mother feels her son's hand on her shoulder in a dream the night before his birthday. A husband sees his late wife smiling silently at him in the garden where they used to sit. A daughter hears her father's voice telling her she'll be okay, and wakes up feeling like she actually believes it for the first time in months. These aren't just touching stories. They're patterns. Patterns that suggest our connections to those we've lost don't end with death. They change, yes, but they don't disappear. If you're someone who's experienced a dream like this, don't dismiss it. Write it down. Reflect on what was said, how you felt, and what was going on in your life when it happened. Often, these dreams arrive when you're at a crossroads, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. And what they offer is more than comfort. They offer guidance, reassurance, and sometimes even permission to heal and move forward. We don't always get the closure we crave in waking life, but sometimes, when the world is quiet and your guard is down, your soul gets the chance to listen to what it's been needing to hear all along. Maybe that's what dreams are for, not to escape reality, but to connect us to something bigger, older, and more loving than we can fully explain. So next time you wake up from a dream that feels too real, pause. Don't rush past it, because it just might be a message from someone who still loves you, from beyond.